Glad to see everyone. Welcome everyone. If there's anyone out there online, welcome to the May Board of Trustees meeting. I'll call the meeting to order.
Make sure your mics are all on.
Okay, I'm loud, but my mic wasn't on, but now it is.
Oh, there it is.
I had my coaching, there's a button right up on top. Yeah. There should be a light somewhere that shows up. Yeah. Okay, so I'll call the meeting to order. Take a quick roll. Barb, I know it's here. Michael, I know it's here. Jen,
Here.
you can see is here. And Anna, you're online there somewhere? Anna?
Yep, I'm here.
You are, okay, good. And of course, we have our library director here, Jandy. So we're all good. All right, so I will ask for any, if there are any additions, corrections, any modifications anyone would like to make to the agenda for today. Everyone okay with that? Okay. All right, and then I will ask for a motion if there are no changes to the minutes or no corrections to the minutes. I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes for last meeting. Motion to approve. Okay.
One second.
Okay, all those in favor, say, show me a hand. Okay,
Like
got
I
it.
vote because I wasn't here.
Yeah.
I wasn't part of it.
Okay, but that's all right. The minutes are sent out, so you can read them.
Well, I
So.
read them, but I don't know
Okay.
if they're correct or not.
Oh, well, there you go. That's a good point. I hear you. Okay, we're good. All right. I should have asked for an eye because I can't see, Anna's hands all that well up there, but I know she approved. Okay. So, we are on to citizen comments. I know we don't have anyone in the chambers, but, Jenny, do we have anyone on the line that may want to make a comment at this point? And if we do, I'll have you go through the procedure for them.
I don't have anyone online at this moment.
Okay, great, thank you.
We will have an opportunity at the end of the meeting for citizens to make comments again.
Right. Okay. So now we're on to reports. And Michael, I don't know if
I was gonna fill in for city council.
you're filling in for city
Yes.
council?
Yes.
Okay.
Some of us have taken too much time.
So wait a minute, back up a minute. I don't know if there's ever too much time. Okay, go ahead.
Mark won't be joining us, today either. He's traveling, at a conference. The update that I have for city council, I have a couple of things I wanted to mention. They had a discussion with the Parks and Arts Commission, sorry, not Parks and Arts. I always call it Parks and Arts. The Community Engagement Commission. They did a workshop together where they were discussing what the next workshop should be. And if you guys haven't heard, Winter Glow is a nonprofit and they do the Christmas light display at Orchard Park. The nonprofit is not wanting to continue that project, so they approached the city about taking over Winter Glow as a city event. So for the next Community Engagement Commission Town Hall, they had a town hall last September. They're talking about doing a town hall at Trailhead again. I want to say it's June 2nd. It's the first week in June, and they want to discuss with the community the idea of the city taking on Winter Glow as a city event. So obviously there would be some costs for upkeep and to purchase Winter Glow from. So they want to hear what the citizens think and if they think that's a program that they want to continue.
There was a pretty good summary of that in the splash.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's something that they were discussing. They also have had some updates to the personnel manual and the financial policy. Not a lot of library discussions recently. There will be a facilities master plan meeting on June 3rd. That won't specifically have to do with the library, but it will be discussing, all the facilities in the city. But I am working with, BCRA on the site plan for the new library. So we will probably have a workshop on that with them, or presentation with that, in July or August sometime. So,
Okay, so that's council.
yes.
All right, looks like you're gonna be doing a lot of talking today, Jan. You've got a lot of things going on.
Yes.
Okay, so, obviously Mark's not here to talk to us about anything that is, library related and with the city. So I'll give a brief update of the Friends group. The Friends have been very, busy planning their soiree. And you may, have noticed on social media, some of the, advertisement for the soiree. They have a QR code out for it. They are now, you can now purchase tickets to the soiree. It usually sells out about 2 weeks before the event. I think we can sell about 150 tickets for that event. So if you're interested in going, and I encourage as many board of trustees to go as can, because it's a great event just to visit with people from around the city and talk about our library. We have great entertainment I'll say it over and over again, the library, or not the library, but the Liberty Lake Winery, who generously donates their facility and their staff to help facilitate this event. It's a great place. It's usually great weather, sometimes a little hot, but outside, and so it's a lot of fun.
It's July.
July, whatever that second Wednesday is, July 14th or 15th, I can't remember the exact date. I have to look at my phone.
16th,
What date?
July 16th.
16th, I knew it was in there somewhere. Okay, 16th, yes, thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
So that's one thing they've been working on quite a bit. They also have a book sale coming up, which has also been on their agenda, and they've been working at. That book sale coincides with the Liberty Lake yard sale, which I believe is also June 17th, I think, on a Saturday. But the book sale is on a Friday and Saturday. Again, a very busy event, and takes a lot of work and coordination. So those are the two main things that they've been working on for quite
I think it's the 13th, 14th.
It's a
again,
Friday and Saturday, June 13th and 14th.
yeah, okay, thanks, Jen. So
I just get to cheat because my
Yeah.
laptop.
it's a good thing you're helping me out with that. Don't have all the dates, but I know that they have been busy working on those things. So that's the Friends of the Library. And we can now move on to Jandy's report.
Yes, so I have my annual report for you guys today, that I have been working on with the state. Sorry, pulling up my notes here. So each, sorry, okay, it's still there. Okay. So, each spring, I get a state survey from the state library. The state library compiles all of these numbers for every library in the state of Washington. It's something that they use for advocating for the libraries in Washington, but they also use it for things with the Institute of Museum and Library Services, and to just display to the public at large the value and the services that libraries are providing to people across the country. So we've been doing this since like 2004, 2005, so a really, really long time. It usually takes about 10 hours to complete. So we are required with our ordinance to give an annual report to the council. They have certain statistics in the ordinance that they request us to provide them with, and then obviously we can supplement those with other information and statistics and things that we find of value. We used to give this report to the council in December, but the numbers were never complete. because it wasn't the end of the year yet, so it was kind of premature. And since we have to give these numbers to the state anyway, I said, let's do two birds with one stone. And so when they updated the ordinance, they changed it so that I could provide the numbers in June. Just because sometimes it's April, sometimes it's May that the state requests the numbers for them. So we will be giving more to them again in June. I'm gonna give you guys some numbers that I found compelling. I know I sent you guys out the numbers as well. And I can pull up the PDF of it here as well for us to go through. I thought I would talk about what I found of value, and then when we get to the next point of our meeting, you guys could talk about things that you thought we should share in the annual report to the council as well. So the first thing I have is the number of registered residents. So the number of patrons in Liberty Lake who have a Liberty Lake resident card are 4,895. Last year so basically 4,900. Last year we were at 4,300 registered users. Our non-resident users are up significantly. Last year it was 1,668, and we are up to 2,565. So almost 1,000 more non-resident users of the library. So total we are at 7,460, which is up about 1,400 from last year where we were sitting at 6,025. So our usage is up significantly from last year. Our total budget last year was $716,000. The year prior was about 650,000 for our budget. We also receive money from the Friends every year that I have to disclose. So our money that we received from the Friends last year was $7,500. So our total, where did that go? And then we have $14,000 in our capital budget. And this is for me to buy things like computers, furniture, big, large ticket items for the library. So our total budget last year was $738,000. Our total collection size for last year is 25,028 items. This includes our print materials, our audio, our video, and our Library of Things collection. So all of our non-traditional items along with like our hotspots and our laptops and those sort of things. Anything that checks out physically from the library. If you guys remember, because of we try to keep things around our population size. So Liberty Lake is a population of 13,000. So we want to have a collection of about 26,000 volumes. So last year we were a little bit under what we should be as far as our collection size. So that's something.
Jandy, who sets that, who kind of has the guidelines for that?
The state library has a guideline. They say anywhere from 1.5 to 2 items per person in your city is optimal, yes. But it's not like sternness of declarations, but that's what is advisable.
Is that total or physical? Physical items?
Yes, stuff that's in-house in the library. That's what they like because not everyone has a computer or has a phone or wants to access Libby. So this is for physical items in the library. Good question. Our annual visits last year were 69,575. If you remember, we have a sensor people counter that counts everyone that comes in the library. Last year, we were at 62,600. So we had a really good increase. The thing I wanted to point out is last year, we quote unquote recovered from COVID. So obviously businesses everywhere experienced a drastic decrease in usage during COVID. And the goal has been to basically recover and get your numbers back to where they should be. This is wonderful for us to have achieved after, I don't know, 4 years, I guess you would say. I was at my state's library meeting in February out in Olympia, and there are libraries who are still at about half of what they should be. they are not recovering from COVID. So this is wonderful for us to have gotten over that hump. So I'm really, really, really pleased to hear that. And then as far as our circulation of physical items go, if you look on your report, my numbers last year are skewed. So circulation of physical materials, last year it says 107,902. That's the total number for everything. So basically I put the total number at the top and then added everything below. So I reached out to the woman who's over the state report to have her fix that for me from last year's numbers. So it looks like we are down 10,000 from last year, and that's not correct. So last year, the real number is 86,149. And then this year we're up to 97,498. So up about 11,000 from last year. And then the renewals are holding steady at 21,000. Our children's numbers are up about 3,000. It was 60,000 checkouts last year. We're at 63,000, 63,900. So 4,000 basically over as far as our children's circulation goes. This is the first year they had us track. So they've been having us track our e-usage for many years, but this year they split it out. So they wanted to know how many of those were e-books and how many of those were e-audio books. So our e-book checkouts were 15,900 and our e-audio checkouts were at 18,041, which is what I expected. I feel like a lot of people use Libby for the audiobooks to stream on their phone in their car listening. So that is up a little bit higher as far as usage goes. So, and then our total circulation, let's see. Okay, so let's see. Last year we brought in from our other libraries in CIN 18,300 books. So those are books that we had transferred in for our patrons from other libraries. So if you look at that, our patrons obviously do have access to a lot of materials outside of our library, which is wonderful.
Dan, do you have a
Yes.
question? Just above that,
Yeah.
there was the total circulation and use of electronic materials. Now that the library subscribes to Canopy,
Yes,
do you have any way to track
yes.
who's using that? So will that get added in and it's likely to really bump our numbers up?
So yes, that would be under e-video circulation.
Right.
So in 2024, we didn't have any e-video circulation. So yes, this will bump it up for next year.
Got it.
What our e-video circulation is. So yeah, they track it by month. So we will be able to see what it is for the whole year in 2025.
Thank you.
It's getting really good usage so far, so I'm really happy about that. Let's see, flipping over to library programs. I wanted to start with story time. So last year, our story time attendance was 6,833. We offer story time 4 days a week. So obviously this number is going to be our highest programming number. In 2024, our numbers went up over 2,000 to 8,834. So this is just story time attendance. It's not anything else. We do touch a truck, which is obviously for our young kids, but we categorize that as a family program. It's not under this category. So that is just the loan for people coming into the library for story time. It's up 2,000. So that's wonderful to see. Obviously, our early literacy program is something that we probably value more than anything else that we do at the library. So it's great to see that attendance. The attendance at our elementary age programming for ages 6 to 11 has been going down the last couple of years. So we are at 607 for 2024, the year prior being 732. So right now, this was a, area we want to do some improvement in for next year. And so I'm working with our children's associate and we're planning to do a weekly kids club, is what we're calling it. It'll be once a week at the library every, say, Wednesday or Monday, whatever day we choose. And we'll be rotating what program we do each week. So 1 week will be STEM, 1 week will be arts and crafts, 1 week will be our Lego club, and then the last week will be our wild card program is what we're calling it. So any kind of program that we want to do. So we're trying to, we feel like we're really good at getting the kids in young, doing story time, having them come to the library every week, and we want to continue that into our elementary age programming.
So what
So-
time of the day is that going to?
It's gonna be after school, probably like 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Say every Wednesday or whatever day that we decide on. Michaela started that last year for our teens. So if you flip over the page, last summer, Michaela started a Teen Tuesday. So every Tuesday during the summer, you could come to the library for some sort of teen program. She did cooking, she did arts and crafts, she did any STEM, anything under the sun. A lot of the times it was, what kind of programs do you guys want to do? Okay, we'll do that. And so our usage in 2023 was at 170. And then for 2024, we were up to 365. We started this programming in June. So we don't have a full year's data with it. So it'll be interesting to see what our numbers are for 2025. Our teen usage is obviously never going to compete with our storytime kids because it's not every day of the week and they have a busier schedules than 4-year-olds. But we're trying to kind of implement this across the board. So storytime, we have multiple days a week. We'll have our kids programming once a week, every week, and our teen programming once a week, every week to kind of get that consistency and that habit of, oh, we could come to the library every Wednesday if we want for programs.
What
So
about recommended reading lists for kids at those different ages? Like
Yes.
Favorites of whatever, like the Denver kids.
yes,
These have been favorites in the past, or favorite young adult books for the teens.
yes, we do have lots of brochures is what we call them throughout the library. So our librarians will make that. So I've made them, Michaela has made them. We've even had some teens like over the years make different ones. Like if you like Percy Jackson, you might like these other books. That's something that we have on an ongoing basis at the library. And we kind of rotate them out, so it's not always the same brochures and also because the kids' interests change over time.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we love having those to give people ideas of new books to read at the library.
Do we have that for adults too?
Yes, we do. We have a genre one for each of the different genres. Historical fiction, romance, mystery, suspense, Western. We have every category. We have these brochure plates that we put on the end of the shelf and it can hold 3 brochures at a time. And so we have them all along the general adult fiction. And theirs are by genre. So it usually has different authors that they might like. And sometimes she has titles, but sometimes it's more author-based for the adults. But that's really helpful for giving people ideas of what they can read next, particularly because I feel like when you're adult, you kind of know what you like. So sometimes they aren't as good at branching out. So, yes.
The other thing I was thinking about is having like high quality books that you can recommend. Like when you look at movies, it's like Rotten Tomatoes and things like that. They will rank.
Yes.
Just to have like, oh, those writers are award winning, and those are books that are very highly rated, and then try to suggest those to people.
Yes, we do that a lot with our stickers. So for the kids collection, obviously we have the Newberries, which are highly awarded books that come out every year. So we have Newbery Award stickers, which are the winners, and then we have Newbery Honor stickers, which are for books that were considered but weren't chosen. Obviously for kids also there's the Caldecott. For the adults, we generally will print out lists for them because there's a lot more different categories like the Prince Award, National Book Award, that sort of thing. So it's something that we definitely try to keep top of mind and to promote as well. For the kids collection, we also have the classic sticker, which is, those classic perennial favorites that keep coming back. Charlotte's Web, Where the Red Fern Grows, that sort of thing as well.
I mean, I see with my kids, they also like to stay with the same type of writer and genre, like they
Yes.
would find one writer and then they don't want to read anything else for a while, so it's good to find ways to break them out of their.
Yes.
favorite
Yes.
pattern.
Yes, my mom was always like, you can pick 10 books and I'm gonna pick one book for you that you have to read to get me to try something new. Yeah.
Have you partnered with Spokesman Review at all?
Yes, we have done with them, not every single year, but every year that they reach out. We've done what are the top checkouts at the library? Sorry, I'm on the brain of like books right now.
Yeah.
We've done several articles with them on various different topics, but we've done with them what were the top checkouts of the year multiple times. I know we just did that last year, and in years past with the Splash, we did a books you would recommend to give as Christmas gifts.
Oh,
They weren't Christmas themed, but just like
yeah.
books that we think people would really like to give as a gift. So we've done both of those kind of recommended reading articles.
I was thinking about the speakers, the authors that they have come as speakers. I just wondered if the library purchases those books ahead of time at all.
We do get books before they come out, and like with the Spokane Reads, like,
Yeah.
is that kind of what you're thinking?
Well, I can't remember what they call it, but they
Yes.
have authors come and speak. Sometimes they're big name authors like Jeff Walter.
Yes.
Sometimes there's somebody, it's their very first book. They've never been on a book tour or anything. And I didn't know if the library, made a point of purchasing those books that they have programs for.
I know we have with like the Spokane Reads. I don't know if it's just like I'm thinking of like the author visits they do at like Auntie's bookstore. I don't know how closely we watch that. We do definitely try to keep up what's locally popular and what's nationally popular. That's something we could probably be better about, is seeing what authors are coming to Auntie's or that sort of thing, and trying to get those books in as well. That'd be a good market to hit.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So let's see, I have just a couple more. Our total attendance at adult programming for last year was 217, up from 179 the year prior. Our adults are probably as hard to get into the library as our teens. But we do a monthly, adult craft. Michaela's has tried to do a monthly Saturday program as well. We have the master gardeners come this past year, she started doing a bunko once a month at the library as well. That started taking off pretty good. So just trying to get them in. Thursday nights is when we do our adult programming, and then trying to get some people in on Saturdays as well. Our attendance at our general interest program, so this is our all ages program, so think Touch a Truck, think our Halloween party, our summer reading show that we do at Ridgeline High School, our Christmas party, our big family events. So last year 2023 was 529. Our biggest hit to that was we didn't do Touch a Truck because I was out on maternity leave during the summer, but we did bring that back in 2024. And our attendance obviously rose 2,000. That's what we can kind of average at those events. So we're at 2,371 for our general age programs in 2024. The last thing with programming that I wanted to point out, so I guess two things. Our total programs that we provided to the community for free in 2024 was 306 programs. So that's every single program that we did throughout the year. So that's something that we're very proud of, and that I just kind of wanted to toot my staff's horn on, is like, I have doing programming myself, Erin, and Michaela, and then I have two subs that will occasionally help. So 306 programs put on by 3 to 5 people, and a lot of the time it's just one person doing that. So,
Do you count the symphony and the museum kinds of things in that?
no, the symphony isn't counted in this.
Okay.
It's counted in an other category, but because we are thinking of it as like a checkout, but maybe it should be included in this instead of that. Sorry, our Mobius like, is a pass you check out.
Right.
The symphony tickets are tickets that we give out. So yeah, I need to think about what category that should be in. Because our low base is tracked as a checkout. Symphony is a program that we get tickets for. We do know how many people went. Because I think it was last year in 2024, it was 117 tickets out of 120. So that's not recorded anywhere in here. So that's something I need to take a note of to figure out where to record that. Probably I'd put it in general interest, because it's for all ages and parents and kids. Symphony tickets. So 2025. And I just think that's amazing for my very small staff, and also incredible that all of those are free, no charge for any of that. So our total program attendance for 2024 was 12,919. The year prior in 2023, we were at 9,100. So it's up basically 4,000. 2,000 of that is from Catch a Truck. The other 2,000 of that, I'm saying the majority of it is coming from our story time attendance. So that was a significant jump, 4,000 in 1 year. So I was really, really proud of my staff for that. I thought that was incredible. Let's see. Let's see. I have 2 more numbers for you, and then I will stop talking about this. They added for 2024 are what they call one-on-one appointments. Let's see, one-on-one services. So does your library host one-on-one services like homework help, tutoring, small business consultation, etc.? So we offer proctoring, which is something we've been doing for many, many years, where people who are, a lot of them go to like an online school, can come to the library if the school requires that a physical human proctor their tests. You have to be a librarian to do that. That's like the rule. But I don't know why they say that is, because you are physically like pushing a button, typing in your name or something, but they want an actual librarian. So Michaela does do all of our proctoring. I occasionally assist her with it. It was very big pre-COVID. It's not as big, but it's been getting bigger this last year. So it's not a big number. But this is our proctoring and our tech appointments, which is something Michaela started in Q4 last year, where you can book a one-on-one appointment with her to get some help with technology, whether that's on your Kindle, on your phone, on your laptop. And that's something that she's continuing into 2025. So for last year, it was 22. So that's something that the state is tracking now that they weren't tracking before. And it's so convenient that Michaela has been tracking that as well. The last thing I wanted to point out is our computer usage. In 2023, we had 1,805 computer sessions. We have a program, they have to physically log on, it tracks the usage for us. In 2024, we were up to 3,237. So, like a
So
third.
what does that actually mean, the computer? I mean, that doesn't mean just getting on and looking online for books and stuff like that.
So these are our computers that you have, they're not just browsing for books. It's if they want to use one of our computers up by the front desk, we have those 4
Right.
computers.
Uh-huh.
It's for computer sessions. So some people, it's just coming in and printing something off.
Got it.
Somebody, it's looking on Facebook, email, job hunting, anything.
Got
So we still only have 4 computers in the library. So this was still the same number of computers. We didn't add additional computers. We don't have anywhere to put additional computers in the current library, nor do we have outlets to plug them into. But we're up to 3,200 for this year. So it's just one of those things that we are monitoring. We do need more computers, but we don't have anywhere to put them. And so in the new library plan that we're drafting, we are planning to double the number of computers that we have and offer 8 computers with some privacy. Because that's the other complaint that we get is like, I'm sitting right next to someone.
Right.
And if I'm working like on my, I'm logging into my SCCU banking, I probably don't want the person next to me seeing it. So that's something we want to incorporate into the new libraries, having some more privacy, like screen covers and that sort of thing to help with that.
Jandy, do you see very many people that come in and computers are full and they hang around waiting for one to open?
It has happened this year, which is not something that had happened since COVID. So we hadn't had any issues with not having enough computers since COVID, but in 2025, we have had
Got it.
4 or 5 times where all the computers are in use.
It wouldn't do us any good to think about putting more in, because there's no way to put them in.
Yes, so we
Don't have
can't,
the
we can't do anything
technology,
at this
yeah.
point about it. So it's something that we are trying to address with
With the
the
new one.
new library. It's just one of those things where it is hard to plan. Sometimes you come in and there's nobody. And then sometimes there's 6 people that want to use it.
Right.
So it does fluctuate over
I
the
did
day.
notice that the Wi-Fi usage is 24/7. Does that mean if you have a password, you can sit in the parking lot?
It's open. We don't have a password on it because that prevents access as well.
Okay.
So yeah, you can sit in our parking lot and use the Wi-Fi 24/7. It's on. So, yes. The thing that I suggested to the survey facilitator that they add next year is tracking the meeting and study space usage. Because libraries are providing free rooms available for individuals and groups to use. And there has been an increase in demand for that, so I did think those would be compelling numbers for the state to have. To, illustrate to people is how much usage the library is getting for just, Zoom meetings, telehealth, HOA meetings, anything, and that it's free, which is incredible. So that's everything that I had to share with you guys today. But our next topic on the agenda is talking about what numbers we want to include in the annual report and who wants to assist me with giving the annual reports.
Right,
The dates we have planned for that right now is June 17th. It's a
So
Tuesday.
that's the second meeting in June for the city council, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah, we need to give them a report. And Jandy and I talked about this and we thought it'd be a good idea. And she sent it out to you in the email, that it'd be a good idea for each one to take a turn, helping her put that together and helping her present it to the city council. If you guys are all okay with that, I think that would be great. Because I know it helps, Jandy knows what needs to go in there, but it always helps to have a second set of eyes on there, to help her, present the information, that we want to update the council on. So,
And just because we're all new, so that makes
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and it's all-
It's again.
yeah, mostly new faces, so it's a good way for them to also, get associated with people on board. So, so after Janet talks about this, if there's anyone that has time to be able to help her with that for this time around for the June meeting and on June 17th, that'd be great. Okay, Janet, go ahead.
So basically, the numbers that I presented are what I was thinking of including with the council. I don't know if you guys had other ideas of things that you thought would be compelling to include.
What's the population increase? I mean, the library's up in every category except for maybe one.
Yes,
But there's also been a fair amount of development.
yes.
In this area, so how much of that do you think is related to popularity of services and the awesome things the library's doing? And how much is related to the fact that there's a lot more people here now?
I think it's probably both things. I need to see what the numbers are exactly. I don't remember if last year it was like, if it was like 13,100 last year and this year it's 13,900, or if it was in the 12s.
Yeah,
So I do have that number somewhere. Do you have it, Michael?
it's at the very bottom of the report.
Oh.
It says population of the legal service area. Is
Oh.
that the number you're looking for?
Yes, yes. So this is numbers that the state knows. They populated this.
But I thought the growth was more significant than that.
Yes, because we were up 1,000 in the non-residents, and then I think it was like 500 in, yeah, so 43 to 48, and then it was 1,600 to 2,500. Sorry, I'm having to say hundreds and thousands, and it's just kind of all blended together.
Yeah.
So yeah, our population is up 700, but our usage is up 15.
But how much of that is like how much of the river district, all that development is inside the city limits? I don't know. That's
Yeah.
my problem, but.
I don't know if you know this, but we do give library cards to everyone who lives in Liberty Lake, even if they're on the lake. They still get a Liberty Lake resident card.
Yes.
So that skews the numbers a tiny bit, but we are there. we are their real library. So yeah, that's something they changed in 2019.
Oh.
So as far as the library cards go, I know the city doesn't recognize them, but the library does.
I do think including the population would be a helpful number to highlight that your increases aren't solely dictated
By
by
population.
population.
Yes.
Mhm.
And you can have on the same graph, the
Mm-hmm.
line for the population and then the line for the item
Yeah.
that you're looking at.
I didn't highlight any numbers that you didn't already share, Jandy, in terms of thinking about what to share with the council.
But I do think for the council, both, and then to focus on the opportunity during that presentation too. For example, the computer part, right? Like, you know, we had this many, but we could have had more with more computers. Kind of emphasizing the needs, and I'm thinking about the children, right? There's a lot more room to do things with the, for the little ones.
Yeah, I think you can summarize the,
Highlight our challenges.
Right.
At the same
Yes.
time.
I was just gonna say, Jenny, I think you can summarize, after giving your report, you can summarize by highlighting those areas that are challenges and actually limit people's opportunities to utilize certain aspects of the library, like the computers.
For the room access, I know you always have, rooms are used so often and additional rooms would be helpful. Mhm.
Yes, so I do want to add the meeting space usage, even though
Mhm.
that's
Meeting
not.
space, yeah.
Yes. I'm gonna put that.
And in the children's area, which is jam-packed, overflowing, for reading. Which then spills over to things outside the library that really aren't, I mean, like parking for all those people. I mean, they're parking in the whole, across the street or, you know, other places. That's a different story, but I'm just, as far as the library is concerned, I think if, the numbers highlight the need for, updating or and increasing space and technology, I think that would be a good thing.
I think for parking, it would be good to quantify it. And I don't know exactly how many parking spots do we have there, and then how many visitors do you end up having during the, you know, busy times.
Yes,
And
I
to
want
show
to say
the
we have,
good amount of time when parking is not enough.
yes, I think Ben was saying we have 33 parking spots, so I need to, double check that number. But also highlight that at Storytime, we're averaging over 70 people. So obviously, some parents have more than one kid, but yeah, it is a continuing weekly struggle that we're having, and we can show them that with our attendances up being up over 2,000 people. So,
But the fact that during those events, you have
yes,
that many people, I think it's very relevant. Put that number together with the
Yes.
number of cars that you can buy. And only in a very constructive way, because that's what city council is looking at right now, right, is trying to figure out what the needs are and how do we build a new library.
I was just wondering about how they consider the parking that's there in the city center, town hall area, that where people park during the day if they're gonna take the bus. Is that considered?
No, we're not-
is
we're
that
not in-
STA parking or is that city parking?
we're not including STA parking in our plans for the new library because it's not our parking.
Right.
Okay.
So I'll be talking about that in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Anybody have any other suggestions for Jandy? Is there anyone that can, kind of work with Jandy on the presentation? Jen, would you be willing to do that for this one in June? Okay, so I'll let you,
Yes,
you and Jandy
that's
can
fine.
coordinate,
Okay.
and then that would be great. Thank you, Jen, for doing that. Okay, any other? Anna, I feel like, Anna, do you have anything to add to anything that's been said so far? Are you out there?
I am out here, yes.
I feel like I don't ever have a chance to include you in this because.
I mean, the numbers are great. Great to hear, you know, that we're I mean, the library is amazing, but you know, I'm biased to that. And I think showing these numbers should, I mean, if they don't speak for themselves, then, you know, I don't know what else is going to help the council, you know, realize that this is something we do and bigger, better, more. Like you said, the kids and 2,000 up from previous year, that's insane. We need more space.
All right, great. Thank you. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I would like to say something, just because I
Yeah,
kinda-
you guys are on such a roll, I didn't want to interrupt.
That's okay. All right, so, now we are on to Jandy will give us an update on the grant. And what's going on with the
New
library.
library project.
Yeah.
So the state released their budget last Monday, I want to say, the end of April, and we were not selected for the, LCIP grants, library and capital improvements grants. This was not surprising because one of the grants requirements was that it was for the Legacy Church. So we wrote the grant with the proposal to do it at the Legacy Church. Our matching funds were attached to that project. So when the council chose to move the project from Legacy Church to examining Town Square, kind of put us out of the running.
So Jandy, I have a question. When the state sends you who do they send that, not the information, but who did they send that, that we were not, given that grant? Do they send that to you? Do they send it to Mark? Who do they send that to?
I don't know that I've received a formal letter in the mail or anything.
Okay,
The state just published the budget, and within the budget is the library capitals and improvements grant application, and it listed all of the libraries who received the funds and the amount of money that they received.
got it.
So the state, so we had $10 million worth of projects that were submitted, and they chose, $6.5 million was awarded. And then the other $3.5 million was not awarded.
Okay, so that's
We
still,
were up for 937,000, so almost 1 million.
so that's still a pretty significant amount that they gave out to libraries throughout the state.
Yes.
What I guess I'm trying to get at is, when they give that, do they give any explanation for why you were not included? Because you're absolutely right. When the council decided to not move forward with the Legacy Church, we pretty much self-disqualified from that grant.
Yes, if they would have dispersed the money, we would have had to give it back.
Right, exactly. So, I'm just gonna say that one of the comments by one of our council members at the last council meeting, I feel was made inaccurately. I'm just gonna say that, because the grant was specifically tied to the renovation of the Legacy Church.
Yes, so I can reach out to Mara, she's the grant facilitator, and see if they have some sort of letter or reasoning, or if it's just the state said no. So, I
Right.
haven't received anything from them.
I'd be curious. I wonder, I'm not sure, but I think, a lot of times when you put out a grant, and I think sometimes you do, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes you do get a letter from the people that says, you know, you were not selected this time around, and here are some of the things why we didn't choose you. Here's what you could do next time to be, to be selected. Those are some of the things that come around sometimes, when you apply for a grant. I'd be curious to know if that's what we got from the state. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get anything, but I'm just saying. Okay, sorry.
No, you're all good. So that's the update on the grant, where we are with the, library project at Town Square Park. Couple things to share. We've been working with BCRA architectural firm. They helped us with the design at Legacy Church, and they have been helping the city with all of their facilities master planning. So I've been working with Nikki and Amanda and a couple other architects. We have, We've had a couple of meetings. Right now, we are in the site plan stage. So basically, it's looking at all of the square footage on the property of that space. There's 4.4 acres. And then planning where the library should go, where the parking should go, how many parking spots we should have, where the entrances to the library should be, all of those details. So we have looked at some large conceptual layouts of like where things could go, but it's like very zoomed out, high level is what we're looking at right now. The thing that I have suggested that they incorporate into the plan and that they are moving forward with is it's Town Square Park. It's where we do the farmer's market. It's called a park. I think we should have a playground incorporated into the design. There's a lot of beautiful green space and it's, so I think that would be a wonderful opportunity is to have, a lot of green space for us to do programming outside, but then also have a playground that could be used by the library, but also anyone who comes to the park, anyone who comes to the farmer's market. So they are moving forward with that plan of planning where a playground would go. Now, will the playground open the same day as the library? I don't know. But I thought that was an important element to incorporate into the design.
I've seen a couple libraries that have been renovated, a couple on the west side where the playground area was a part of the library. I mean,
Yes.
at the outside part of, the outside area of the library, and it's kind of cool. A
Yeah,
lot of kids are out there.
yeah. I just think it has opportunity for people who are, families that are bringing their kids to the library can, play at the playground before they come into the library, after they come into the library. But maybe the people who don't even know there's a library there and just come for the park can also utilize the library as well. So,
Have you been to the library in Sandpoint?
no, you're like the third person to tell me that I should go to that one. Somebody sent me pictures. So I know that they have a lot of plants and like greenery incorporated into their library. Do they have a playground as well? Sorry, I should ask why you're bringing it up.
Oh, because I use it when my grandchildren come to visit.
Yes,
Like, I'm not gonna buy all these kids all these books because they grow every year and they're.
yes,
So we use that library when we're up there, but, they have like the community gardens, kind
Yes.
of like they have, at Rocky Hill, the same
Yes.
kind of idea. I think they have just outside the library so that it's
somebody
That's
showed me a
more of the
picture of that last
community.
week.
more
Yes,
community feel than just the library. They do have meeting space, they have, yeah, it's huge facility. I mean, compared to the Liberty Lake Library, and Sandpoint's the same size.
but that is something that we do have in a lot of our parks at Rocky Hill,
Yeah,
is that we have.
but if they're looking to
Garden
increase,
spaces.
it would make sense to have, a small area like that nearby, especially if we're gonna have master gardeners.
Yes, having some garden plots, that's a great idea.
I definitely think having the playground right there is gonna get a lot of foot traffic. So every time we go to Coeur d'Alene, there's that like big park. And like when
Yeah.
the kids were younger, the amount of times we almost stepped foot into the library, but the reason we didn't is because we didn't have library cards and we didn't want to like go through that whole process. But the amount of times like we thought about it and just kind of didn't end up going because, didn't have it, but 100%, I think that is a great way to lure people in. I mean, it's
Right.
not luring, but I definitely feel like it's a one-stop shop. It's a play date, and then you go inside and, you check out a book or two and you maybe do a program with the library and it becomes it's already a staple for people, but it's gonna become a bigger staple for people. So I think that's a great idea.
I also just wonder, I know at all of the parks around here, we have like a community bulletin board at the park and putting some sort of very large sign on there that says like, did you know anyone can get a library card with Liberty Lake? Do you come to this park often? Consider getting a library card, even if you're
Right.
from the valley or Spokane.
Great idea. So Danny, while you guys have been discussing this and situating the library on the property, has there been any discussion about how that would be integrated with what might happen in the future with that space in terms of buildings? In other words, I'm thinking of, we want a really beautiful library in that space, but we also want that whole area, like with putting
The farmer's market,
Well,
building or?
well, I don't know if it's a farmer's market building, but I mean, is there some discussion about how it would all work together
Hello?
if it was built out to be a town, finished out as a town square.
Yeah, so we are incorporating all of that into the design
Great.
and making sure that everything flows really well together. As far as, the green space where a playground would make sense, where this would make sense. As far as parking, where they're talking about having the library is kind of up in this corner and then the parking's on this side, but maybe having a way that the parking could connect to where the Town Square Park has their parking lot, so that it could be overflow, or so, if somebody's at the farmer's market, it flows really well
Got
to
it.
go into the library. So we are thinking very big picture as far as where things should go, but also like windows and where it makes sense to have windows in the library so that you have this beautiful view as well.
Fantastic.
So,
That's
yes.
good.
yes. And we are going back and forth on the parking and how many parking spots there should be and where the parking spots, the amount of parking spots and where they should also be. We obviously don't want them too far away for a lot of our elderly patrons or families. And then also making sure that there's, walking paths and that sort of thing for if there is an instance where people need to walk, that they can do so safely. So, yes, the more parking, the better. in my opinion. Yes.
Will the building be visible from the main street?
Yes,
So, because that's important, I think, for people to know that it's
Yes.
there right when you drive by.
yes. So they're kind of thinking, behind where what is that? Not the White House Grill, what's that place called? Pentagon, thank you. I was gonna say Palenques and I didn't know. Having beautiful windows on that side where the Pentagon is. Sorry, I can't give you like a design because it's not finished and
Sure.
we're still arguing about it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
let me just talk about it very broadly. But that's something we're talking about is having, that you can see it from the road, on both, Mission and then Signal, and having some really beautiful windows and, you want a pretty looking library.
So Jenny, I can't remember from the last few council meetings, but is this group tasked with presenting this to the council?
I think it's sometime in the middle of July.
Middle of July.
Yes.
I'm sure that you're doing a great job. How much of the city council budget has been set aside for this pre-planning versus actually planning the building? Because there are some beautiful libraries where I'm sure you could get.
So I think the task order funding amount for the project was 150,000, but I think that was at the tall end. The city budget has over $3 million set aside for a project. I just don't remember the point, so I'm like, it's 3 million something. And I want to say our task order was like 150,000 to bring everything that they need, but that was thinking, you always ask for more than you need, I think, than having to go back
The
and
price
ask for
keeps
more
going
money.
up for everything.
Yes. The last thing I wanted to share about that is that, we did a survey, we've done a survey with the community, asking them what they would like to see in this project. You probably have seen it around because I've sent it to all of you. It's asking, kind of what you'd want to see in a library and an indoor gathering space, meeting space for the library. When I reached out to David last week, we were up to 600, over 600 responses to the survey. I'm very pleased by this because, last August we did a survey, so a little less than a year ago, we did a survey. And so when we were just talking about the library at Legacy Church, I was kind of concerned about some survey fatigue. Or people would be confused, like, you just gave me a survey in August, why are you giving me another survey in April? And how is this survey different and that sort of thing. So last year in August, when we did the survey, we had 517 responses. So we've already beat that number. So I'm incredibly pleased with the amount of responses that we are getting.
But I
Good
think
survey.
there's more excitement around it because the legacy would have been removing the library to a still old space. They were remodeling, it's a bit of an upgrade. This, I see it as a new library in a new space in a great location.
Yes,
So
so
I'm sure a lot of people are excited about that.
Yes.
Community center, whatever that.
it does have all the elements.
Yeah,
Yes, so I think that is true.
instead of we're gonna move down the road for half a mile.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So that's everything that I have to share on the, new library grant updates.
I think it would also be a great place for some food trucks to stop by there during events or
Yes,
times. So hopefully that somewhere in that parking lot, right? You have an event for kids and then you have a food truck with bakery and coffee and ice cream and all that.
yes, yes, I think that's great. We've had like the snow cone truck come to something prior, and then there's an ice cream truck, so as far as kids go, yeah, I think that's a great location for events as well. So. Was it the circulation? Was
Yeah,
that-
well, no, the next up, on there is your CIN,
Oh, thank you.
update or what is
Okay.
happening with the CIN.
So I'll briefly talk about this. As you know, we belong to the Cooperative Information Network. We share books with over 20 other libraries in North Idaho. There is another system, Ponderay, which is in Washington. But Cooperative Information Network doesn't scream library, in my opinion. So we have been working with them. We've been working as a group. We meet monthly with all the other library directors. We meet via Zoom. And we've been talking about changing our name to the Inland Northwest Library. So that's what our cooperative would be called instead of Cooperative Information Network. As they were going through the process of changing our name, it seems that our consortium does not exist. It's not on the books.
Yeah.
But we've been existing since like 2000, very early 2000s. There was iterations of this in the 80s. So we've been around for a long time. We're paying all of our bills, like we're doing everything. But when they went to change the name, they're like, your name isn't there. So we have been working with an attorney. And part of this to reincorporate is we need to sign a new joint powers agreement. This is Sean, our city attorney, has reviewed those documents and is comfortable with them. The point that I wanted to share with you guys is this is what our membership requirements are and what we as a library are promising as far as like our patrons, like what our duties and responsibilities are. So I wanted to make you guys aware of the name change, make you aware that we are forming for real. And that these are kind of what you as a board are kind of promising, what the library is promising that we're going to do as far as our patrons
So
go.
what are you forming as? A nonprofit organization, is it a business? But I don't know. How, is it,
It's a 501 something, but it's not a 501(c)(3).
okay,
So they were forming as a consortium. It's not a, the other thing was like a library district. It's not a library district. We're forming as a cooperative, library, something. I don't remember the actual.
So basically, Jandy, everything that we're responsible for before stays the same.
Yeah.
The only thing that really changes is the
The
name.
name,
Got
yes. And that it's on the books for real.
Right. And then
So,
it's.
so basically, we're working with other CIN libraries to pursue mutually agreed upon goals. We are promising to share all of our resources, best practices, and expertise. And then we are implementing services using mutually accepted library-related standards. We meet once a month as a group. If we're gonna change something in our library, we're gonna tell everyone else that we're making that change. Some things we do have to agree upon as a group. But a lot of it is still separate to your library. So the loan periods, overdues, and general policies of each library will govern the use of its respective materials. Collection of fines and recovery of materials from patrons will be the responsibility of each library, according to the CIN circulation policy. Pursuant to Idaho code, the circulation records in CIN shall be considered confidential, which is how all libraries operate. We don't tell other people what somebody's checking out. We don't tell somebody else where they live or what their address is. We keep all that information private. We have weekly participation in the courier system. So we have a courier that goes to different libraries each days of the week. He comes to Liberty Lake on Tuesdays and Fridays, and we pay fees associated with that. Obviously, a library that has more materials might pay more money. A library that gets books every single day will pay more money than a library that gets books a certain number of days. So it's distributed equally. depending on your usage. We have reciprocal borrowing privileges, which means that anyone can check out books from Liberty Lake, from Coeur d'Alene, from Hayden. Anyone can check out books from any library and put stuff on hold. We don't really circulate our reference collection, our professional collections, which is like my special story time books. If there was archives, we wouldn't circulate that because those are valuable and easily hurt. CIN libraries agree that unless there's extenuating circumstances, holds will be honored by the date they're placed. So if somebody puts a hold on a book from Coeur d'Alene, and then our Liberty Lake person brings it back and they're like, can I have it for 3 more weeks? We can't, like, that's their book and that's the date that the book is due. So we need to honor that and not, you know, be playing favorites with our patrons and that sort of thing. We will actively participate in the governance of CIN through regular attendance at monthly meetings. We meet the 3rd Wednesday of the month from 10 to 11 a.m. Sometimes it'll go a little bit longer. And we do have requirements to maintain a quorum, which is 7 libraries. So we can't do business unless there's 7 libraries there, just like we do here at our board meetings. And then it has the number of how the budget is broken down. So,
Jandy, is this something that should maybe be shared at our meeting or presentation to the board?
I
the
want
council?
to share with them when we get our new name.
When we get the new name?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you're gonna wait until we get the new name?
Yes, yes.
Got it. Okay,
So I just wanted to make you aware of the name change and that we're working on this agreement. I am working with Sean and Mark to make sure everything's approved, and so far it has all been approved.
I'm gonna put your memory to test.
Yes.
Can you tell us the 7 libraries that are involved in this organization?
Oh, there's more than 7.
That's
Okay.
Yes.
How many?
7. Oh,
How many total? I should know that, but I don't.
How many total?
I don't know.
How many in our area?
Well, we have Liberty Lake, and then we have the Pend Oreille County, which is like Newport, Medellin Falls.
Okay.
There's more than that.
Mhm.
And then there's Coeur d'Alene, there's Post Falls, there's Hayden, there's Rathdrum, there's Athol, there's
Harrison.
Harrison.
Okay,
There's
so it's a large network. Got it.
Priest Lake, Priest River,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wallace.
Yeah.
There's also Wallace School
Okay.
that we share with. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very large network of
Yeah, I'm
libraries.
always
Got
surprised when they're stamped. I'm like, wow, that's cool.
Yes.
it. Got it.
Yes.
Thank you.
So that's what I have as far as that. And then the last thing I had is our new policy that I want us to, or new policy change that I want us to look at. It is a change to the circulation policy. I'm not asking us to make a decision today. I just wanted to bring it to your attention and then give you my suggested changes. And then we would come back as a board and discuss it at our next meeting. This is the other thing I wanted to include in our annual report, is letting the council know that this is the next policy that we're looking at and see if they have, I'm kind of wondering what our procedure should be for going through these policies to make sure that the council feels informed. If
Well, I
it's
think-
just, do you have any suggestions?
I'm gonna suggest that you and Jen bring forth this policy with the red line and the changes, and then we'll just let them know that, let them review it, and then they can comment on it. And if there's anything that has to be addressed, that can be addressed before it's brought back for our approval. At a next board meeting, or whenever it is ready for approval. Anybody have any other comment, any other suggestions?
No, I think that's good, unless they wanted to do different.
Well, I guess I just have a question about, the process for, policy. Is it, do we seek, feedback from the council, or do we inform the council about policy changes?
So they have to give the final approval.
Okay,
And so what, we have to figure out what it would look like, if it would be, because what we did last time, because we've only updated one policy since this change has come, because we did a huge round of it in 2023. So this is the, generally what we do is I come and I say, I have a policy change that I want us to examine. This is which policy it is. I'll give background information on why we need this policy change, what we've noticed with the public or whatever the issue is. And then, I will bring red lines of my suggestions. We'll usually go through that with the board, depending on how big the change is. Sometimes it's multiple meetings. Sometimes we'll go through it in one meeting and then the next meeting we'll vote on it. But basically the process is that we need to make the change and vote on it, but then the council also has to vote on it as well.
So in that case, my suggestion is if the council is the final body to approve it, is to have it here.
Yes.
Go
I
through
was
everything here.
Yeah.
And
Agree.
that's what I've seen in other places too.
That's how the school district reviews policy, so there's a couple, like the first touch, we have that first opportunity to look at it. Then we review it with the red lines, and then the opportunity to vote, depending on how many meetings we need to come to consensus, yeah.
And usually I think for them, also the information about how the board voted for that.
Yes.
It was 2-3,
Yeah.
3-2,
Exactly.
4-1, that should be part of it.
Yes.
So what I hear you saying, Michael, is that, first of all, in this will happen before we have our presentation to the council anyway, right? We'll have our next meeting before that happens.
Yes.
So what I hear you saying is that we approve or not approve of the change in this policy at the next meeting, and then that would be presented to the council with the red lines and the change as approved. And then they can say, oh yeah, they can approve our change.
Yeah, as a recommendation to the city council to approve.
A recommendation, right?
Yeah, and then they make the final decision. So then we will look at this between now and next meeting.
Right.
And then agree on the final version at the
At the
next
next
meeting.
meeting.
Yeah,
Got
and
it.
then vote, and that recommendation goes to the city council.
Got it. I hear.
I think I liked your suggestion of, including how the board voted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we can add that, like, at the bottom of the policy when we take it to the council to
Yes.
include the yays and nays, or
And,
if they want to have all of our names and how we voted, I mean, that's public record.
but if they are the approval body, it will not be an approval, it will be a recommendation.
It will be a
or
recommendation, right?
Approve or
Yeah.
deny, or.
It's a recommendation for their approval.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah, our motion would read something like, move that we recommend this policy to the city council for approval.
Right.
And then we would vote on that motion.
Yes,
Mhm.
not an approval here, because we don't have that authority to approve. I think that's important too.
So our role is to review the policy, make the changes that we think are appropriate with Jandy's guidance. And then, make the recommendation, we're basically voting on the recommended policy change.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
To present to the council.
Yeah.
Got it.
And we do most of that work, so then the city council doesn't have to be there for half an hour and a half to debate about it, but they would make the decision. I mean, to me, it's similar to what I've seen, like, for the parks and recreation, so yeah, make a recommendation to the
Right.
city council.
Okay. I think that's perfect. That sounds great. This is the policy that I have for today. This is our circulation policy, which goes over, everything from, what the borrowers promise, what our checkout limits and loans are, how long something checks out, how many items you can check out, 100, how many renewals that you can get, where you can get interlibrary loans from, what our notifications are, so letting people know when their books are due and how many notifications they get if something's lost, and, asking them when they need to pay, that sort of thing. It has information on damaged books and how that's handled, how lost books are handled. The thing that I have to add today is our claims returned process. Many libraries have claims returned. We used to have claims returned in 2019 and previously. But there was a software update to Koha, which is our ILS, and it broke the claims return process. And so it no longer worked. And so the system was not able to track things that were claims returned, and so we removed the policy because we didn't have a mechanism to keep track of things. So what a claims returned means is a patron checks out a book and they say that they brought it back, but we cannot find the book. But they are adamant. I brought this book back. It was a blue book. It was on a Tuesday. I was wearing green. I put it in the book drop. It's one of those situations where they are adamant and we believe that they are adamant. And so we need a mechanism for trusting the patron and saying, okay, this book, they claim that it's lost somewhere here in the library. This is on us. And we don't want to charge them for that. Does that make sense? The other thing that it includes also is the claims never had, which means I never, ever checked out that book. Something happened. I didn't check out that book. You guys have it somewhere. It's not at my house. So what we're proposing is that a patron, so let me read it. Borrowers are limited to 3 claims returned. So they can have up to 3 books that they say they never had or that they returned and we have lost it here at the library.
Lifelong or
Lifelong.
lifelong, not.
Yes. A claims returned occurs when a borrower's account lists an item that the borrower claims has been returned or was never borrowed. If the claims returned never had is for materials borrowed from a CIN library, it is up to the lending library whether they will allow the claims returned or claims never had. So it's up, if it's a CIN book from Coeur d'Alene or Hayden, it's up to them how they want to handle it. We will not handle it for them. And that goes for lost or damaged books. The system is updated to now where it will track these things and also say they claims that they returned the item and then the item comes back. We find it on the shelf, we find it underneath a shelf, we find it in the back corner of the library. When we check the book in, it will alert us that this is a claims returned item and we're able to go on that person's account and say, yes, we found the book. And then that claims returns disappears. Does that make sense? So it's like if we really do find the book, it doesn't take up one of their 3. Does that make sense? So,
So
yes.
this.
Or if say they end up finding it at their house and they bring it to the desk and they're like, I'm so sorry. I did a claims return for this and I found it under my kid's bed. We can also delete that off their
Sure.
account. So it's lifetime, but if the item is found, it's reversed, if that
Moved
makes
from
sense.
their account.
Yes,
So is this wording the wording that was in the prior to its removal?
yes. So this
It's the
is
exact same wording
this is the wording from 2019.
from 2019?
Yes.
My only suggestion about the wording, because I had to read this 3 times before I could figure out what really meant.
Yes, this is what we want.
Put the definition first. A claims return occurs when a borrower's account lists an item that the borrower claims has been returned or never borrowed. And then the next sentence would be borrowers are limited to 3 claims returned. I was like, what's a claims return? What's a claims never had? I read that sentence 3 times and I was like, oh, the next sentence tells me what it is. So I would just move that one
Okay.
sentence.
Just rearrange that
Just-
paragraph.
Yeah,
Okay. So I have claims return policy. A claims return occurs when a borrower's account lists an item that the borrower claims I can't read today,
Returned,
has
yeah.
been returned or never borrowed.
yeah, then borrowers.
Borrowers are limited.
Then go on.
Yeah,
Yes.
And do we wanna add lifetime or so there to be specific?
yeah, that's not a bad idea. To 3 lifetime claims
Or
returned.
whatever other word it's used.
I don't think it'll be long until every book has a tag like your dog or your air tag or your luggage, or there'll be some little tiny thing there. Probably walk around the library with your scanner and say, oh, okay, it's under that, it's over there. I don't think it'll be too
If
long.
that
So-
happens, we'll be the last ones to get it.
Okay, so, where would you put that in there for the lifetime?
Borrowers course, limited to 3 lifetime claims return or claims never had.
There you go. Okay. Did you hear that, Jan?
Yes,
You already put that in there?
yes.
You are very fast, girl. Your fingers were moving when I was looking. Okay,
Jenny, anything else in this policy that you found that is an issue?
No, everything else is working really well. We updated this policy in April 2023, and we did significant changes to it. As far as the number of items that could check out, that was a big change. And then adding a lot of the different categories, because prior we didn't have hotspots, we didn't have laptops. We didn't have the new collection as well. So we did a major overhaul of this policy in 2023.
But nothing that's it's an issue right now, with
No,
things being checked out too long and having huge, you know, backlogs or anything like that.
no. So everything else is going really well. We got rid of fines in 2019, and we haven't had issues with materials coming back. So that's been really great. They still come back. Because at some point your account will be blocked. You can't check anything out anyway. So it's the same, it's a similar mechanism, but isn't a barrier for kids or something who might not have the money. Yeah.
I think as a principle, we shouldn't try to police things too much, so as long as things are reasonable, I mean, people might forget or delay something, or they
Yeah.
try to.
Yeah.
Go after every single thing there.
Mhm.
Library is a place that's open, we wanna encourage people to read, and I think that should be.
we want to be inclusive.
Providing access, not restricting access, exactly. Yes,
Agreed.
So Jandy, you'll bring back the final wording for our next meeting for a vote for approval.
yes. So I'll send you guys a copy of this to review. And then I also post a copy in the agenda so that patrons or anyone attending the meeting can look at it prior and be able to make comments, written comments or public comments if they wish to. So that's something that we've updated with the agendas that we include also. So. The very last thing that I had is our, action items.
Right.
So I have two, waves for you guys today. These are for items that have reached the statute of limitations. One is from the end of 2018. The other is from the very beginning of 2019. The first one is for $573. They had over 21 items checked out, mainly DVDs, which were like $40 a piece. And then the second one is for 10 items and it's $149. I have to say, I have not seen one for $500 ever since I've been here. So that was a big one. But basically the collection agency can only go after them for a certain amount of time before it's 6 years and then you just have to stop.
And we added that 6 years.
Yes, yes.
All right, so we'll have to entertain a motion to approve these waivers. Do we need to do each one individually, or can we put them all on both in the same motion?
I think I wrote it as both of them in the same.
Okay,
You want to look at the agenda, let's see.
Looks like that in the action items, that it's a single.
So what actually happens? I'm sorry, I don't know. I get that there were fines that weren't paid.
Yes.
So when you say waiver, does that mean those same people can start with a clean slate and can check out stuff again, or?
Generally, people don't come back. Generally, these are people that have moved and we can't find them anymore. But generally what happens is, it goes to the collection agency. They try to, basically, we have if items are less than $50, it's something that I can waive as the director. If it's $100 or more, it's something that the board has to waive. And if it's over $50, we can choose to send it to a collection agency. I don't generally send it to the collection agency. If it's like $56, I'll send it if it's a significant amount like this. So these go to the collection agency. We have a company that we use. I can't think of, Inland Empire, I think is their name. They'll go after the items. They have up to 6 years to try and recoup. We do have people that will make payments to us over a period of years. So they'll send us very small amounts of money over several years. Sometimes a judge will order them to pay us back and they'll do it over a period of years. But these ones have reached their statute of limitations. We can't do anything. They're gone. We tried, we didn't get the money back and now have to wait them.
Okay.
Thanks, so.
Is there a cost usually with a collection agency?
Yes, but the individual pays the cost, not the city.
If they find.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the waivers proposed by Jan.
I would, we approve the waiver of fines.
Second that,
Second, all those in favor, say aye.
aye,
Aye. Anna?
she said.
Yes, sorry. I said it.
I didn't hear. Very quiet. Okay, so.
I'll be louder next time.
They are approved. The waiver is approved. Okay, so, I guess, Jandy, did we wanna talk about the getting into the library as a group? Before I know we have to, I don't think we have to extend the meeting, but just briefly, we could do that and then ask for citizen comments.
Yes, so I was hoping to give each of you individually a tour of the library, because that's something we had planned to do as part of our board trustee retreats that we were gonna do at the state, but now we can't. And I don't want to deal with issues of a quorum. And
Yes.
so I thought, and you know, people have different schedules. I was hoping each of you could schedule a time with me, about 30 minutes, to just come on a deep dive tour of the library.
What days work best for you?
I'm pretty flexible. I work from home on Tuesday, but I'm flexible other than that. So, yes.
Okay,
When did we want to do these?
I was hoping over the next month, if you have time with me.
Do you want us to email you or tell you right now?
If you want to email me, that would be great,
Okay.
or chat with me after, if
right.
it works. But I'm like, Anna's not here. You can email me or.
I'll email you.
All right, good deal. Okay. Is there anyone online?
I don't have anyone online.
Okay, so I don't think we have any citizen comments. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Approve? Yes, no? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are good. We are adjourned. Thanks everyone for being here today.
Bye, everyone. Have a good day.
Hi.
Bye,
Bye.